You need him to get in the Zoom? Does he need to be in the Zoom for local? Lewis, do you need him in the Zoom?
He doesn't need to be in the Zoom for local. I appreciate. Whoa, a haircut!
Wow.
Oh man,
You look good.
He cut his hair. He's got a pompadour. He's wearing a sweatshirt that I am guessing has not been broken out in quite some time. And he's coming in furious. I see it on him. He's coming. He's mad. He's been boiling about what Domonique Foxworth did since the middle of last week. He's been boiling. Has anyone heard from him? Because I have not heard from him. I've just assumed that he has got his barrels loaded, ready to take out Domonique Foxworth today, who on Twitter, Greg Cote called him angry, which I think
and bitter.
Angry.
Don't call Domonique Foxworth angry.
Oh, that's not good, man.
Dangerous game.
I care about you.
Well, this is where we are. Greg Cote is legitimately mad at Domonique Foxworth. I think. I don't know, Greg. I'm speaking for you here.
Yes,
I've just known you for many years. So if I'm speaking out of tune or if I'm saying anything wrong, please correct me.
Well, Domonique is Domonique. This is what he does. And to this day, the funny thing is, I have no idea what the beef is. Like, I have nothing against Domonique. A lot of people refer to him as Domonique Foxworthless.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
I don't.
Domonique Foxworthless.
Yeah,
no one refers to him as that.
Well, people do. No, people do.
Nobody does.
Yeah, people do, but I never have.
Okay.
I respect my fellow man. Evidently, he doesn't.
Right.
And I have no idea why.
Right.
But, he gave a big speech against me.
Yeah.
I'm used to it. I get it all the time. I get it from Bill Corbin. He's always, against me because I supported a Marlins Stadium 10 years ago. And I'm like, Billy Corbin has, small man's syndrome. And
If you're out of breath,
Are you
jogging?
He just came up the steps. He just came up the steps. He's plugging things in. We've disoriented him because this was hello. I wanted to get him in his natural habitat so that everyone can see him just walking in for the day. And so of course he's winded because he just came up the steps and he's still plugging things in. He doesn't know exactly. He doesn't know where he is. He's disoriented. Last night's Miller Night lights are kicking in. The pills are disorienting him.
I wish people could see what I'm dealing with here. I'm trying to plug something in.
An outlet is what you're dealing with.
Literally,
you're dealing with an outlet that has four places where you could plug something in.
I can't even see the outlet, so I'm feeling my way in the dark, trying to criticize Billy Corbin. That guy's got to get over it. I mean, 10 years later, he's still complaining how I supported the Marlins Stadium. Get a life, and then Foxworth.
Small man syndrome, right?
Foxworthless, or you won't call him Foxworthless. You won't do that.
Oh, no, I don't do that. People do. You see it all over the internet. Domonique Foxworthless. I would never do that because he's a man. He's a fellow man like myself.
But that's what the people are saying.
That's what some people say.
Right.
I mean, if he had better knees, he might have had an NFL career. I know he played 4 or 5 years.
I mean, he made a lot of money.
I'm sure he did make a lot of money.
He got out just in time.
He got to a big
he made the same number of Pro Bowl teams as me and your neighbor's dog, but he had a decent little career, and he's done well at ESPN now. I think he's one of only 458 NFL experts on their panel, so he's done really well. It's a great job for him. I appreciate that he thinks the world of Christopher, because so do I. And by the way, I want to say something. I don't know what the final results of that poll
You
were,
haven't said anything yet?
Well, you are retaliating for sound the audience. Some of the audience may have heard, but you are retaliating detail by detail and note by note. We will get the sound of what Domonique, because some people might not have context as to why you're this kind of angry.
Now, I didn't hear it either. Nor do I want to.
I don't believe that you have not heard it.
I have not heard it.
So how did it get back to you?
Well, I saw the poll, which was.
So you're offended? This is all from him saying that Chris Cote is by far the better Cote?
No. I agree with that. I do not contest the result of that poll. I agree with it. I'm lucky I got 10% or whatever I ended up with. Christopher is by far the most talented Cote. My younger son may be more talented than me as well, although I'm angry at him right now, so I don't want to get into that.
Oh, boy.
My granddaughter. Here's the funny part. I criticized the poll by saying, because the poll was vaguely worded, it said, is the younger Cote more talented? And the younger Cody is Michael, who's younger than Christopher,
Yeah,
and then
details
Grayson,
that
my granddaughter.
the details the audience doesn't care about. Again, you're
Well, they
doing this
do.
thing where everything you say is interesting.
And then some Rhodes Scholar on Twitter says, Greg, I think they meant Chris. Oh, really? Is that right?
Okay,
oh,
you're
I
going
didn't
to
know
argue
that.
individually. You're going to argue one by one with people who
I
said
love
things
it.
against you 3 days ago.
Yeah, and then another
Rhodes
guy,
Scholar, damn
apropos
man.
of nothing on Twitter.
You are
some
Greg,
person
at your
Greg,
best
we're
right
not
now.
going. We are not going to do
He's
you.
rolling,
Yeah,
Dan.
you-
Let him go.
itemized-
I mean,
Get out of his way. Clear a
Some
lane.
person on Twitter, apropos of well, it wasn't apropos of nothing because it was on MLK Day. He says something like, some guy who does not know me and has never met me says, on MLK Day, Greg Cote will probably complain that Muhammad Ali was too outspoken. What the hell does that mean? Why are you even bringing up Muhammad Ali? But I'm the biggest Muhammad Ali fan ever.
Right.
I'm older
You
than
have,
He's got
over,
a
you have
double
over
chin.
9.
I was
You
there.
have over
When
9
Cassius
years
Clay
of
became
Ali
Muhammad
career.
Ali. Nobody is a bigger admirer of Muhammad Ali. And so for some stranger I don't know who's never met me to say that on Twitter was really offensive to me. Because somebody, he probably has a good 12 or 15 followers.
Oh, for the
they're
love
reading
of
him.
God.
They're reading that tweet, thinking that he may be right about
hot.
me.
He is hot right
him
now.
go.
He is going line by line on
Oh, my
avatars he is fighting with.
What a morning! Jesus Christ!
Jessica is sitting there with her mouth hanging open. She cannot believe Greg Cote is attacking Twitter people one by one.
I miss Jess.
An itemization
Greg.
of his hatred, and he gave us his Ali bona fides there. He has a Rosa Parks signed NAACP card.
I mean, Dan, you can feel the heat in this room. Like, Greg came in this morning and he
I didn't
just
hear what
went
Jess just
after
said.
every.
it's because
Okay,
you're not
not
plugged
plugged
in.
in.
You're not plugged in, of course. Hold
Oh,
on,
yeah,
The
my-
only
Jessica.
thing you didn't plug in
Okay.
was your
No,
headphones.
this is perfect.
All right, I'm a little behind here.
No, but he needed to get all that out. That's been simmering and boiling for 3 days. He was going to get that guy for having between 13 and 15 followers.
I assume he does.
No,
He
but
may have
Whether
less.
he can hear you or
He may have
not.
fewer. I don't know.
Plug anything in, but he was going to get that off as good morning. I'm going to get that guy, and I'm going to tell everybody he's got between 13 and 15 followers. Can you now hear Jess?
Hi, Greg.
Say it again.
Oh, for the love
No,
of God.
I
I
can't
mean,
hear
why
you.
would you ask him that? He
I gotta get on
literally
Twitter.
did nothing
I
to
mean
fix
Twitter.
it.
I gotta
was
get on,
looking at him.
Zoom.
Jessica,
He
just don't talk to him. Talk to me, talk to the audience, and if there's anything
We
worth
also-
doing with him, I'll go to him.
We
on
also
it.
changed the lighting in that studio a
Jessica
little
is
bit.
glowing today because of her off the cliff tweet was so generously
his
received.
headsets
It
are
was
unplugged.
fantastic.
His headsets
What
are
a great
unplugged.
tweet.
It's like
This
the
isn't
most
plugged in.
low fidelity part of this job.
He's hopped up on pills. There's something happening with his
Something going on.
medication right now.
His
Okay.
sweater is so
He-
faded that I cannot tell what color it is.
It's from 1981. The last time he pulled it out was in 81. He was 30 years old.
I wore it at the wedding I was at, which served a pig. They attempted to have a pig roast. That was a nightmare. But and I found out it's got slight grease stains on it, so I apologize.
We've
for
got
that.
maximum
pig,
Cody
yes.
today. We've got.
You wore that sweater to a wedding? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
Well, it was
Well,
it's a
pig roast,
sweatshirt,
yeah.
not
Yeah,
a
no,
sweater.
that's your wedding sweater?
Yeah, I mean, it was up in Amelia Island near Jacksonville. Very, very cold up there.
That looks
Yeah.
like something Belichick would go jogging in.
I'm in good company then. Thank
Greg,
you.
can you tell us why you're mad at Michael?
I don't think that
He
that-
doesn't wanna go there.
Suddenly
Does
it
not
closes
wanna go
down.
there.
Suddenly
Okay.
it closes down.
He
You're
brought
gonna
it
tell
up.
us?
He did.
He made the Shaq
Well, you
noise
didn't
after he
ask
hit-
about the pig that he brought up. You didn't ask about any of the followers.
It's a
that
fair
he-
question.
We're
Well,
gonna
no,
get
and-
to all of that.
And he was looking for Christopher, who's not here today.
Oh, Christopher's not here today? No wonder.
He just looked around the room and
Yes.
didn't realize that his son is here.
Well, the room is, there's people back there in the corner.
Right.
I thought Christopher, this makes perfect sense.
It's
My
one
son-
Greg Cote fever dream.
No, this is crazy. I text Christopher this morning. I say, I just sent you my show topics for 11922.
Right.
Cricket's back. I should have known that he wasn't working
You
today.
never send those.
I send them to whoever I send them. Just made a good question, and I'm going to throw my other son under the bus. Okay, I was furious at him a couple of hours ago. I've sort of gotten over it. Okay, my wife and I have dinner reservations tonight, so she was going to drive to work with Michael so that I could pick her up from work, and we would have one car on the way home. Simple, right?
Sounds nice.
Yeah, thank you. Beautiful restaurant, too. We're meeting another couple. Wonderful thing. Fantastic.
What's the occasion? Just
nothing.
I love you?
Yeah.
Right.
So Michael agrees to do this and then texts us both at like 4 a.m. saying, hey, my girlfriend is having a rough night. I'm going to spend the night there. Mom can just Uber. And my wife does not Uber, particularly in the morning when it's dark out. She doesn't want to take an Uber, and I don't blame her, so we were furious at Michael. That's all. It's just one more thing.
Right.
But all's well now, I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a great mood.
All's well that ends well.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm in a
You
fantastic
seem
mood.
very happy, yeah.
I am.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you just got to get it off your chest. You
Yep.
know, you say it out loud, get it out of your head. You start feeling better. Write it down on a card. Maybe put it back in the drawer.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't write it in the card, but I say it. I got to get it off my chest.
Yeah.
That's Billy, by the way.
I know that.
Hey,
I
Billy.
recognize
How's
him.
it going?
Thank you, Billy. The masked man.
Cut his hair, but with that sweater, he somehow looks more like Mac's mom. From
You
It's
look
Always Sunny.
younger.
You do.
I can't possibly look older. That's the only reason I look younger. My wife says that too. She was encouraging me to get my beard shaved and to get a haircut, so it's fantastic. I still go to Supercuts, for $14.95
Right.
plus tip. It's a beautiful thing.
So
They do
$15.
Yeah, they do your sideburn. They do my eyebrows, which is great because I have thick eyebrows. So it's great. I'm in a good mood. What do you guys got going on? Anything? Anything new? I don't want to take over the show.
My life seems boring compared to yours.
I have my own Greg Cote Show podcast. I don't want to come on somebody else's show and take it over.
Who's on this week, by the way?
It's an interesting show because we don't have a guest per se. It's Christopher and I and Michael, back when I still loved him, and Alex Benson of the Shut the Funk Up podcast. The four of us talk about the greatest sitcom characters ever. Now, I know that's not reinventing the wheel. That's like, classic podcast fare. But it was a great conversation. I won the debate, hands down, and it's a fun listen. Yeah, go listen to it.
How'd you get to that topic? Was it on the heels of Bob Saget? How'd you stumble?
I don't think it was. I think it was Christopher had been on a bachelor party in the Keys, Upper Keys recently, and I think it came up then, and he just sort of took that idea for our podcast, mainly because we didn't have a better idea. So that's what we talked about, but it was great. Nice convo.
Do you have it back in my day today?
No. Here's the thing about back in my day.
Didn't you hear everything he's been going through?
It's on my show notes, but of course nobody was there to receive them.
We
and
don't know
pass them
where you
along.
emailed them. You say you emailed them to your son, but again, he's not working.
Yeah, they went to
He's
into
not
the
here
ether.
today.
It's low key been months since we've had a bag in my day. Months.
Yeah, I know. He's but this is what
Months.
infuriates
Did you hear how
Dominic.
busy
So
the man
let's
is? I
finally
mean-
just play for
Thank
him.
you.
Let's play for him the sound of Domonique Foxworth, because Greg Cote wonders why Domonique Foxworth hates him.
Right.
And it's this. It's the entitlement of I deserve to ramble for 12 minutes and it'll always be great because I'm me and you guys love me, and it doesn't matter how bad I am. The worse I am, the better it is for everybody.
I'm looking at your topics, and there's a big one on here, buried way deep in your topics.
Really? What is it, Billy?
Well, you sent them. You don't know what your topics are?
How did you receive my topics? I sent them to Christopher thinking he was working today.
How did you receive
do
the
you want-
topics? We haven't received his topics in years.
There's an announcement on his topics. Is this refreshing your memory?
Go ahead. Favor me.
You want me to make
Do
the
you not
announcement?
remember
You don't
what
know your own
you've
announcement?
got on your topics an announcement?
I love
You
you.
don't
I-
remember the announcement?
Yeah, I had a personal aside that I didn't think was suitable for air.
No, that's not it.
Greg, on your topic sheet, how many items? Can you count the number of items on that sheet?
I think
Billy?
he's looking at an old topic
Billy,
sheet.
Why don't
He's probably right. I
Look,
mean-
I don't think so, but I'll start giving you the top topics and see if this jogs any of your memory.
In the meantime, what's your aside?
I want to talk about what the University of Miami basketball team did yesterday.
I
But
don't,
what is
I
your
don't want to talk
aside?
about anything or anyone other than Greg right now.
Exactly.
What a game for the Canes.
Right.
Larrañaga back from the dead, am I right? I mean, that guy, how are they not ranked?
It's a good question.
They should
Yeah.
be ranked, I would say.
What was the aside?
Is this
I
the
don't
aside?
remember.
What
I
was
honestly
the
don't.
What was the announcement?
I don't know. Billy said it.
It says back in my day announces. You want me to continue reading?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and read it because it's like a news blurb.
Right.
Okay, it says back in my day announces immediate retirement. but it could be back like when boxers retires. So watch out for a possible comeback.
Right. See, had you read the show notes, you wouldn't have had to embarrass me by personally asking me if I had it back in my day.
You retired it, right?
Would have been known.
I didn't know it was
noticed,
retired.
right.
You retired the benchmark you're known for.
It's been announced.
Well, on a show sheet he sent to his son who's not working that he doesn't understand.
I don't know. I
how
still
you
don't know how
got.
Billy got that.
Well,
That's
you know,
fantastic.
Guys, I would just say, think of this announced retirement like when a boxer retires.
Right. Thank you. So I could
It might be back.
Right.
Right.
Unlike the old, most boxers who retire are a little younger than me, not that much younger.
But
they come back. And
This
I
is
might.
what Domonique Foxworth, he thinks that you are the face of privileged mediocrity. And he hammered you. I can't believe you haven't heard this. You're still, what did you come in here so bothered about if you're alleging that you haven't heard this sound? Because this is the sound I thought bothered you.
It was Michael.
It was just that? It was younger Cody? It was.
Yeah, it was part of that. And,
you don't know the half of how bad this got because Foxworth really ripped you.
Well, and that would be him. That's why some people call him what they call him, Domonique Foxworthless, which I never would because I respect my fellow man.
Greg wouldn't,
But
some
you're
people
going to get
have.
down into the gutter like that and personally criticize somebody. And I will say you're not off the hook either, LeBatard, because I thought that poll was very tone deaf and mean-spirited, and here's why. That was a poll that was specifically and intentionally designed to embarrass someone or to hurt someone. The hurt party just happened to be me. Luckily, I have alligator skin. I can take it. Thank God Christopher wasn't on the wrong side of that.
Quite
Right.
literally.
Well, I think Dan
You
knew
look
that.
reptilian at this point.
Fun.
You can make shoes out
That's
of
good.
Greg.
I do have leathery skin.
So you're mad at Dan that you're lashing out.
You can make, hold
Dividing
on.
a family.
His last, the boat shoes that he's worn for 15 straight
shoes.
years, deck shoes, whether it's doing lawn work or jogging around the neighborhood, he's worn them every day for 15 years, and they were like $9.99 deck shoes. That is his skin tone and the feel of his skin. But you hurt your feet with those shoes the other day, did you not? Because this was a calamity on your 41st anniversary.
Right.
Those deck shoes hurt your feet.
I had a one of the inside grommets became shredded a little bit and cut. Obviously, you don't wear socks with deck shoes, so the inside grommet, which was sharp, gave me quite the cut on my
Are you okay?
at my left ankle, outer left ankle. Yeah, I'm okay now, Billy. Thank you.
Let's
I
play.
heal quickly.
Let's play this sound then. We'll see how quickly he heals from this. I can't believe you haven't heard this. So here's Domonique Foxworth on with us last week explaining his hatred for Greg Cote.
The younger Cody, more talented Cody now, by far.
Oh,
Not
my
even
God.
close.
Oh, my God.
That's going to hurt, man.
Put it on the poll at LeBatard Show, please. Is the younger Cody already the more talented Cody by far?
I love this
Do
ball.
you listen to the show? Like, Greg gets a whole day, and all he does is misplay his own hits throughout the course of an entire day.
At least
and then
I have
somehow
hits,
you guys
unlike
make
Domonique.
entertainment around the fact that he's bad. You laugh at him being terrible, and somehow we're like, oh, this was a good day because he could somehow dribble the ball off his foot, and you guys scoop it up and make it an alley-oop and dunk it. He's like, hey, guys, see what I just did there? It's outrageous. Whereas on the other hand, Chris is in the back producing, doing all his production stuff, slides a line in here or there. Bang, bang, boom. Efficiency. You hit him with the corner three, playing defense, setting picks, boxing out. And Greg Cote comes out of the locker room after smoking a cigarette and takes off his warm-up, has on the wrong shorts, got on the away shorts instead of the home shorts, dribbles the ball off of his foot several times in the course of the game. You guys turn it into points, and then he's like, follow me, listen to my podcast. I don't cut my toenails. Ain't I special? Stop it.
Okay, that's all he's got. I mean, seriously, I don't want to get into a back and forth with Domonique. I am curious how this beef started because I honestly, unless he attacks me, and I defend myself. I have nothing against him.
He loves the show, and he thinks that you come in here and you take from the show, and you're entitled and you expect things.
Okay,
and
God knows I don't take a paycheck from the show. I mean, I don't know what else I'm taking.
Yeah,
but,
boy.
But it ain't
Fight
money.
back.
I'll tell you that. Boy, do I miss those little Disney checks.
You're taking a beating, that's for
They
sure.
literally
Greg.
had Mickey Mouse logo in the upper left corner of the check. It was fantastic.
Well, do you want to put out?
I am taking a beating. Billy had that right. What I take from this show is a beating and disrespect.
Hold on. You didn't have direct deposit. You still got sent the hard copy
Yeah,
check.
it was beautiful.
Greg loves a physical check.
Yeah, hard
I
copy
do love a
checks.
physical
So
check.
you walk to the bank and you
Yes.
just hand it to them. And you're like, I'd like to deposit.
Yeah,
this.
quick story. I save them up. I'm not destitute, so I save up 7 or 8 checks at a time before I go into the bank.
Oh, that feels great.
And this,
yeah.
Guillermo,
and-
put it on the poll, please. Do you love a physical check?
I do. And the teller is very impressed with a little bit too nosy, but very impressed by the fact I'm cashing a Disney check. And so she asked me what I'm do for a living and blah, blah, blah. And she was very impressed, and she brings over the bank manager. I thought this was an invasion of privacy a little bit.
Right.
I'm trying to cash a check. It shouldn't matter what. I mean, I was proud to at the time to work for ESPN.
What was
and
your
all that
answer?
bullshit, but-
Yeah, what do you do?
2 years ago, I used to work for Disney. Please deposit
Right.
this check.
Yeah, exactly. But I miss those checks. Anyway, I miss any check. Kidding me?
Well, if you're going to throw our literal business out there, let's have it out in public. Mike is feuding with the company over his shit,
I read that. Good tweet.
and
I side with Mike.
you have your beef with Meadowlark Media, and I told you what was going to happen, and it was exactly what did end up happening. We continue to promote a podcast for you that is very popular at the Herald. It is popular in part because we do that for you. It's all you've asked for. In exchange, we've asked the economy that has gone around one of their most popular podcasts to pay you something, and they say, nope, we want 100% of the money, not to be shared with Greg Cote. So if you're going to get that thing to be bigger and bigger, and it's its own economy now, we want to cut for you. And the answer from your employer, formerly my employer, is not 1 cent.
Right.
Not one physical check, not 1 cent.
All of it is true.
So now what? We've tried to work this out in a million different ways, and you're still complaining about not getting paid.
That's just for fun. You set me up by saying you take from the show. What am I going to say that isn't? Except I don't take a paycheck, I'll tell you that.
It's a good
Right.
joke.
It was a
Yeah,
great
of course.
joke by
So
you.
you set me
Yes.
up.
So you
It's
don't
like
really
a
care
tea.
about the paycheck. Yeah.
Well, not really, no. I mean, as long as you graciously allow me every once in a while to just sneak in a reference to the Greg Cote Show podcast, which I'm very proud of. You can get it anywhere. Apple, wherever the hell you do your podcasts. Podding, whatever you call it. So you allow that, and I
Podcast.
appreciate that. People
But that's
check
what
out.
you ask
check out
what
the
he's mad
podcast.
about. You ask what he's mad about, and I'm telling you what he's mad about. It's not me that's mad about it. I'm not. You're my lifelong friend.
Right.
I
Although
would do,
you don't always act like it.
I would do anything for you and your family.
Yeah.
Like, you know this. This is not up for dispute.
Sure.
And you're asking me why he's mad. I'm explaining it to you and the audience.
Okay, and it's fair.
He is coming and looking at you and thinking that you come from a great deal of privilege.
I don't come from privilege. I was poor growing up. I don't know what Domonique talks about when he says I come from privilege.
1440.
1440. I'm walking around barefoot on a Pebble Rock driveway. I wasn't in a big boss line doing a dance.
You tell him.
I'm growing up.
Is that a Bruce Springsteen lyric?
I have no idea. If it isn't, it should be.
What was it? I was barefoot on a Pebble Rock highway? What?
No, Pebble Rock driveway. We couldn't afford to have our driveway paved.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What do
Let
you
me
mean
dust off my boss.
Go ahead. Let's see what he's got here.
I was barefoot on a Pebble Rock
Highway. Why was he barefoot? There was no motorcycle. Why was the highway made of Pebble Rock?
I was barefoot on a Pebble Rock driveway.
Yo, that's a hit.
That is
That's
a
a
hit.
hit.
That's fantastic. He does a better Bruce than Bruce.
I was frying turkey.
I was frying turkey barefoot on a Pebble Rock highway.
We couldn't even afford a turkey back then. That was only after I grew up and
Oh,
made
this
money.
is good shit. I'm still writing.
It is good, yeah. Record that so you don't lose the melody. No, I grew up poor, and I mean poor. my mom and I would walk to Quick Check to turn in empty bottles for the deposit money to buy a loaf of bread, and that's no lie. So when Domonique Wilkins,
Domonique Foxworth,
or whatever his name is, the lesser Domonique, when the lesser Domonique accuses me of
highlight reel.
The word privilege.
He was shouting it at you from the other room, Stugotz. Did you fall
very
asleep?
loud.
Yeah. Talk about a great Domonique.
We got two of them in here. With Greg is talking very loud. I am now doing the show with the theater seating of the Muppets with the two guys.
Wait, I can't hear you.
Statler and Waldorf.
I don't mean to be shouting. I'm sorry.
Hold on.
But don't call me anything you want. Just
Mike,
don't
what
call
were you
me
trying
privileged.
to tell Stugotz? Stugotz is now unplugged. What were you trying to tell Stugotz?
Why is everybody unplugged right now?
MTV Unplugged.
Give me a break, Dan. I was born barefoot on a cobble driveway.
He doesn't remember the line. Doesn't remember
I'm
it
not
yet.
plugged in. I can't hear you. What?
It's so good.
I was born barefoot on a cobblestone. It doesn't work the same way.
Pebblestone.
I can't hear.
Pebblestone
He's
driveway.
not talking about your privilege or what you came from. He's talking about your privileged position now, where you can come into the show, have a valued presence here, be beloved by the audience, and desecrate it by not doing the one thing like back in my day that you're supposed to do that is now retired.
Yeah, I think beloved by the audience is into some question given the poll result, but I'll take you at your word.
Not
I guess.
not as beloved as your son.
Okay.
Or not as competent as your son. I think that you wouldn't even dispute that. Would you?
I am not protesting the poll results.
Mike,
I claim no voter fraud.
No, Mike,
Were you rooting for yourself, though?
Mike, it's going to be the three of us one day, okay? So, just tell the audience what you just had to come into the studio and plug in Stugotz's microphone now.
I just had to plug in his headphones into a jack.
I can hear you now.
Yeah,
A 2-year-old could do it.
well, they should be plugged in when we get here.
But a radio veteran of 25 plus years who
Putting
has
it
been
honestly.
recording in that studio for close to a decade could not plug his headphones into a jack.
To Greg's point,
I wish you'd play back what he made the line. Cobble, blah, blah, blah.
I couldn't hear him, Dan. I mean,
Greg, in Greg's defense, he's not a radio engineer. He just comes,
Thank you,
he
Billy.
sits down, and he has to go.
Billy's always got it right on the nail, man.
In-
Just like my father, a carpenter,
child.
right on the nail.
Your father was a carpenter?
Yes.
Wow.
Was he?
Like
Yeah.
Jesus.
You serious?
He was a master carpenter. He built all the furniture in our house. He worked with his hands. That's why I'm pretty good with wood, to be honest with you.
Really?
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Put it on.
wow.
I used to whittle as a kid.
Are you good with wood?
Put it on a T-shirt, Angel. I was
My
pretty good
father
with
was
wood, and just Greg Cote's face.
Hell yeah.
How do you become a master carpenter?
My father was a master carpenter, worked with his hands. I'm good with wood.
I would love for Bruce Springsteen to make occasional appearances in our college basketball talk here, just singing about Greg Cote's life. Because Bruce Springsteen singing things about
25 points at halftime is the largest deficit the Tar Heels ever faced in their program's history.
No, I'm saying I want to talk with I want to talk with
Hubert Davis is on an apparent hot seat. No, Jim Larinaga.
not what I was asking for.
He's got Wong and Moore, and that white guy, they're stroking from 3. And John Ruiz is giving everybody NILs. You gotta talk to compliance. If you don't talk to compliance, it's gonna fail. But Mark Emmert is toothless.
Bruce Springsteen giving sports commentary. It's a totally different thing. Like it was,
You better talk to compliance.
Some music.
You better talk to compliance before it falls.
Oh my God! So Tim Reynolds wrote that in the last 10 years, Miami's the only team to have multiple 25-point-plus victories over North Carolina. Miami beats Duke at Duke earlier this season. Last night, FSU beats Duke at FSU in overtime. Stugotz came in here today complaining still 20 years in about the Seminoles storming the court.
I mean, act like you've been there, and the Seminoles have been there. I'm not certain the Seminoles don't have a better basketball program than Duke does right now. I'm serious. Like, some big deal. You beat Duke at home. Congratulations. You've done it before. I mean,
it's still Duke, though. Like, you don't have to joy police that one.
To your point, though, Stugotz, over the last 4 years, FSU, I think, is this year notwithstanding, because Duke was ranked as high as number 2. They've been the better program.
A consistent. Leonard Hamilton has built a consistent Sweet 16 team program. Sometimes they lose a little earlier than that, but they get that far. They just haven't won. They haven't gotten to a Final Four, and so
the pandemic probably played a large hand in that. They had a really good team that year.
I'm sorry, like I sound like an old man, I know it, but storming the court used to mean something. It used to. It was reserved for Appalachian State beating Michigan in a big football game or something.
Florida State was a 5-point dog in the game at home.
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
You can't do that.
I guess beating Duke still matters. Of course, Duke is Duke. They're on TV more than Leave It to Beaver reruns.
Who was that?
You've never heard that old Jim Rome clip?
No.
I don't even know. He would always play that clip. Duke is Duke. They're on TV more than Leave It to Beaver reruns.
But this is why I worry about you accruing power, because Mike Ryan has become a legitimate Golden Cane power broker. He's at a skybox at the game. He's talking to people who are making deals, legal deals all around the sport. But Mike Ryan, emotional booster. I don't know if Mike's even realized this when he gets up in the morning and looks in the mirror. You're emotional booster now. An emotional booster fired Larinaga about 2 months ago. On this program, you were done with about 2 months ago.
Yeah, I've since offered several public apologies, but thank you for the opportunity to give it once again. Yeah, I was pushing Jim Larinaga out the door. I thought this program was headed in the wrong direction. It kind of was, but I didn't offer him the benefit of the doubt when it came to how the Adidas scandal totally nuked the basketball program. In particular, there were a lot of big-time commitments that had committed to Miami that went away. Scholarships went away. Miami suffered on the court, and it looked like he lost touch with the game.
Larinaga was very close to wherever Hamilton was at the same time. Leonard Hamilton was the University of Miami coach, helped build the golden years of the program. Really, the program hasn't been very much. Best it was under Leonard Hamilton until Larinaga gets here and builds the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, they won an ACC basketball championship, regular season and postseason. They had some electric teams over there. I still remember, like Shane Larkin's alley-oop off the glass against Duke, and Wade and LeBron were at the games. But Larinaga, the last few years, have been lean years for the basketball program, and Miami knows it's got to get that program back on track. And a lot of fans, including myself, were like, is Larinaga the guy to do this? Hand up to God, I am so sorry, Jim Larinaga, because you absolutely still have it. This team is exciting. This team has gotten better. Look, even this season, they didn't look very good. When I was throwing off those takes, it was hard to disagree with them when you're eking one out against FAU and you're tight with Canisius. But he has turned it around in a big way, and they're going to be a tournament team.
To be fair, though, the first 10 games of a college basketball schedule hasn't mattered in a long time. I understand playing those cruddy teams before conference play, you should win them by 30 and 40 points, and they did have a couple of scares, but you were done with everything, all of the things that have been ruined around the program, where every one of the programs is a shell of what it used to be.
Right.
Miami used to be the standard in baseball and in football, and never was the standard in basketball, but Larinaga had built something that felt sustainable as a regular tournament team.
My whole thing was just clean house. Clean out the football program, clean out the AD, clean out the baseball program, just reset. And obviously that was wrong. That was truly wrong, because Larinaga deserves the benefit of the doubt.
But at the time, I understand. Like, they lost to UCF. They had a very close win over North Texas.
Box scores, too.
They lost to Dayton. But now they've beaten Syracuse. They've beaten Carolina. They've beaten Duke. Like, those are three powerhouses in college basketball. And I'm surprised they're not ranked, to be honest with you.
Miami's a legitimate shot at regular season ACC champion this year.
Absolutely should be ranked, at least.
They will be.
Yeah, I thought they should have been after they beat Duke, but then the problem is immediately after that they lose to their nemesis FSU. I think they've lost 9 of the last 10 to FSU. If they can figure out how to beat Leonard Hamilton, they're on like a 12-game winning streak.
FSU has been one of the top 15 programs for the last 10 years. FSU's been really good since Leonard Hamilton was there. He built that here. He had it here, and then he built it at FSU. I wanted to talk to Roy, though, because you guys were talking when I came in about what it is. You rarely see this in a press conference. I guess it was Zach Wierenski of the Blue Jackets was giving a press conference, and he was talking about the most embarrassing loss of his career. And what he said was, and he looked super dejected, when the crowd is chanting, "We want 10," he's lost 9-2. When the crowd is chanting, "We want 10," he says, yeah, that represents the most embarrassing game of my career.
Well, the Panthers fans have done this twice so far within a 2-week span. They did it against Dallas as well. Yeah, 9-2 is like, that doesn't necessarily happen in hockey, and they managed to achieve that. So good job out of them. And the fans are starting to build up now. The fans are starting to come out to the games. I went to the Vancouver game the day before. Like, Vancouver's a terrible team, but that place was 3/4 filled. So they're starting to notice that this is actually the best team in the league. Of course, they didn't look like that last night against Calgary, but yeah, they're the best team in the league.
Well,
so
it's
I'm
just
happy.
fun. It's not just that, right? It's such a rare thing. We've had it down here how many times? We had it with Marino. We had it with Wade. But when anybody can watch a game and be like, oh, I wish my offense played like that. I wish my team could score like that. I wish that it looked that way. When you're the envy of the league because you're watching something young and fast move around and it looks better than everything else you're watching, that South Florida's always supported that. It just doesn't make an appearance very often.
Right. And their home, Roy, you would know this exactly. Their home record is what, 23-3?
20-3, yes.
20-3. Astounding. By far the best home record in the league. So if the fans aren't catching on and joining the bandwagon, I don't know what they're waiting for. But then again, and Roy knows this all too well, let's see what to quote what Stugotz often says, do it in the playoffs. And that's so true with the Panthers because we've seen this before where they've had pretty good teams, best regular season, most points ever, blah, blah, blah. And then they lose in the first round of the playoffs. So this team seems poised
we
for a
haven't
deep
seen
run.
that much. We saw that against Tampa Bay, the eventual champions. You can't say we've seen it once that they've had this.
But Tampa's there again, and Kucherov's going to come back for the playoffs, and they're annoying, and they're scoring a lot of goals.
Fair
Back
enough.
now. He's back now.
Fair enough.
Oh, he's already back, Kucherov?
Yeah.
They are an impediment for everyone in the league, but that doesn't mean. I thought last year they were every bit as good as Roy thought they were, and they just lost in the playoffs because they ran into the eventual champions.
Yeah, it was a bad draw, that's for sure.
And it got better. This is the best offense in the league in the past 27 years. So they're outscoring everybody. The defense has gotten better. The only regression I see right now is Spencer Knight hasn't been as good as last season, and unfortunately, Sergei Bobrovsky is coming back to form from last year. Other than that, they're poised for a deep run.
You don't trust Bobrovsky. None of you do.
I don't know. Like I did earlier in the season. I think he'll do better later in the season in the playoffs, but lately just hasn't been that great.
You don't trust him. I want it said out loud. I don't know is what you said. You don't trust him. Mike, you don't trust him. You think that the only thing that derails this team, outside of injury, the only other thing that
the randomness of the hockey playoffs as well.
Well, but it's random if your goalie's not good enough.
Right.
It's random it's not random if your goalie's great.
They got to go through Tampa and Vasilevsky.
Yep.
That is a very clear goaltending advantage. We saw 88 for Tampa. How many times did you scream that to the heavens during that playoff series? They're outstanding between the pipes, and we're obviously very shaky. We have an offense that can compensate for that, but when the game gets tighter in the postseason, you're going to need your goalie to be special a couple times. You thought Spencer Knight could flash that special quality, but a bit of a sophomore slump, to Roy's point. Like, he's not as good this season as we projected him to be.
They're paying him to be, though, Bobrovsky, not Knight. They're paying Bobrovsky to be a goaltender that carries you in the playoffs. That's the contract he's got.
Yeah, but we'll worry about that in the second round because they're going to win the first round. They just have to worry about Toronto and Tampa in the second round. So
you don't even know the matchup yet.
Oh, he is definitively saying a team is passing the first round for the first time since 1996.
Look at that cocky Panther fan.
They haven't gotten past the first round.
We have never seen cocky Panther fan. Cocky Panther fan has never existed. You are out there saying it flatly. They will make it past the first round or
or that's it. They're not going to play anymore.
Well, the season's
Okay,
over.
so you're not
It's
willing to
over.
risk anything in your great belief that they're going to make it past the first round.
Coward.
Is there a wager that can be made? The fine bomb. Is there something that can happen here that would give you stakes? Because it's not enough to just say something boldly and then suffer the shame of it.
What? The Panthers win in the first round?
Yes.
Think of something. I'll do it.
All right.
Well, guarantee it.
Dangerous.
Okay. Look at that. That's real confidence now, though. We've got to think that one out for a second.
You got to think of something now.
Something good.
Touche.
Yes.
Put it back on me.
He really did, and we will.
You just made a comment. I mean,
No, he boldly
Dye
said
your
it.
hair silver.
It's the boldest
Done.
thing.
Yeah.
Cisco.
Cisco.
Let's go.
Cisco.
Yeah.
Yes or no? It's the boldest thing that Roy has ever said on the show.
It's the longest he's ever talked.
The
so
boldest.
probably.
Was that the boldest hot take that Roy has ever had? That he
Yes,
is claiming
yes.
that the Panthers, historically, that he has not trusted. I just had the conversation with him. You trust Bobrovsky? And he said, I don't know, maybe in the second half. It was not trust. It was the articulation of distrust. And he just said, the best Panther team we've ever seen, he has just guaranteed us that it will make the first round. Or Cisco is what we're doing? The thong song? What are
Thong
we-
song Cisco, not Drew
Oh,
Hill
no,
Cisco.
no. I'm not singing. I'm
No,
not
no,
going to
no,
do
no,
any
no,
dancing
no,
or
no,
anything.
no,
I'll
no,
just
no.
dye my hair.
No, yeah.
Thong song.
Yeah.
Unleash the
Way
Dragon,
to clear
Cisco,
that
not
up,
Drew
Roy.
Hill.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
Unless you want Drew Hill Cisco.
Greg, I wanted.
But then you're going to be called Simon Phoenix.
Choose your Cisco.
We all know.
Well, I already put mustard in my hair, so that technically counts as gold hair, doesn't it?
Mike, I think if the season ended today, they play the Penguins, and Roy hates the Penguins.
Oh, I'm looking so forward to that match.
Pens.
The Pens, Sid the Kid.
Greg, before we get out of here on the local hour, your thoughts on the last week of developments around the Flores-Tua relationship, about Schefter reporting and some of the reports that Brian Flores was most behind Deshaun Watson being here, and now the reports that the Dolphins are committed to Tua in 2022.
Yeah, it seems like an evolution because we thought 6 months ago that it was Stephen Ross pushing the Deshaun Watson thing because he was just out of patience. And now we hear something different. Clearly, they're finally, for the first time in 2 years, they seem to be all in on Tua, and that could mean Brian Daboll is the next hire, the Bills' offensive coordinator, because he's actually worked with Tua. He knows Tua's game better than
well, let me
anybody
ask you
they've
guys
had.
this question about Daboll, because Cody, you've been around this team for a long time.
Right.
Is it fair to hold Daboll's past against him? Like, can he learn so much in the last 10 years that Dolphin fans should be excited about the guy who's going to get credit for what, being a Josh Allen whisperer?
Right.
Or, because Josh Allen's a pretty unique talent.
Right.
I probably don't need to tell you guys, physical strength, that is a different animal than Tua.
Oh, gosh.
You're talking about Josh Allen. You are
Night and
talking
day.
about someone you can make the argument is the most athletic player in the history of the position.
Right.
That's
I would
what, but that's what Daboll would be getting the job based on. And I'm just asking you guys.
Well, no, I hate that, Dan, because I think Josh Allen made Daboll a head coaching candidate. Not the Daboll didn't make Josh Allen great. Josh Allen
Look,
is great.
somebody deserves the credit for Josh Allen.
How about Josh Allen?
I identified him as terrible. I've
Right.
never seen a quarterback make the leap that he has made from totally inaccurate to no. I want him. I want him for the next 10 years.
Right. Josh Allen's career got off to a little bit of a slow start. If you compare his numbers with Tua's for each's first 16 career starts, Tua's numbers are better. So you got to give Daboll a little bit of credit there.
But he had higher to climb, though, because Josh Allen was incompetent in college. He was not an accurate quarterback.
Right.
I didn't think that could be fixed by anybody before doing the examination, because I don't believe, are qualified to tell you, this particular group of people, to disentangle for you how much Daboll had to do with Josh Allen's success or growth as a quarterback. We would all agree, all of us. If someone has the ability to do that, yes, please, make him my head coach. If you believe that there is someone who can just take the greatest athlete you've ever seen at the position, possibly. Like, really, it's Cam Newton. There are a couple guys. Athleticism, unique. Arm strength, people bouncing off of him when he runs around because he's big.
It's like a small linebacker when he runs.
If you want to give him credit for that, You can give him credit for that. What I'm asking you is more broadly, the Dolphin fan base that yawns or looks at this with cynicism and says, well, 10 years ago, he wasn't special as a Browns coordinator. He got here with not much help, and he wasn't special here. We complain. He's one of those names, right?
Yeah.
That we complain. Dolphin fan base, every football fan base has this, losing one. Oh, this coordinator. Daboll's one of the names in the list. He's not with Oliver, but he's there. I heard an awful lot of complaints about Dom Capers, all these guys. So 10 years later, because Capers has run through here again, Chan Gailey has run through here again, like where you see multiple failures. What I'm asking you, Dolphin fan bases should be excited about Daboll. Should I evolve my position? Because maybe in 10 years he has gotten a lot better. Maybe Daboll in 10 years has learned everything that you need to learn, and he can make Tua something more special than he is.
I will say this. 10 years ago, he was here one season only in 2011. I think it's a misconception to say he failed. I don't think he failed. I remember that team. And
they were below average in offense.
I remember that team, and I've looked up the stats. He took over a team that was ranked 31st in points scored, which is next to last in the league. And his season, they ranked, I think, 19th, which is a little below average, but you go from the dregs of the league to mediocrity in one season. So I don't think he was an abject failure. 10 years later, he has a lot more experience. He has Josh Allen on his resume. He has the background with Tua. He's not an exciting hire if they hire him. He's not an exciting hire, but I think he's a competent hire. I think he's a strategic hire. You know, if you want somebody who's going to give a great press conference, hire McDaniel, the San Francisco offensive coordinator, because he's funny behind a mic. I would love to have him, but Daboll's a very strategic hire aimed specifically at raising Tua to whatever his ceiling is.
I think we can all agree that the perfect bow on this segment. We've talked about a lot of different stuff. The first 20 minutes were amazing as an unhinged, pill-popping Greg Cote just took the wheels of the program and
Your finest hour
drove it
since
into the
freedom.
sky. Just really amazing. But I think the way, we all agree that the way this needs to end, because some of you might say, well, it's a Springsteen impersonation, right? No. We're going to go with a different impersonation. Here's who Mike was trying to summon with the incredibly obscure Leave It to Beaver joke.
Certainly Duke is Duke. They're on TV more than Leave It to Beaver reruns.
As former Xavier Musketeer head basketball coach Pete Gillen.
Nice.
That was fantastic.